Welcome to the last segment of Citizens Forum, being filmed on Tuesday, July 21st in the Memorial Arena in Victoria, BC. In this segment, we're going to be talking about sewage treatment. We have two guests, both of whom have been quite involved in this. Bryan Gilbert and Medhi Najari. And Bryan, we'll just start with you. What should we look at first?
Well, I just want to thank you, Jack, and your volunteers here for continuing to keep coverage on this. I think it's really essential. It's a huge project. It's going to have a big impact on our region, and we need to make sure it's done right. And you're doing a great job of helping at least share some information of what's going on. That's important, and that really is where I'm concerned. There's been a lot of listening that they've done. They've had all these public engagements. They haven't had a chance to really engage the public and tell them.
Who's they?
They. The CRD.
Okay.
You know, the east side in particular. In fact, I should just focus that I'm focusing really much on the east side, the Victoria, Oak Bay, Saanich segment of this sewage project. That's all that I've been able to follow for the last couple of weeks. They've done a lot of listening, and the public has said loud and clear, don't come back and talk to us until you give us price, cost. Give us an apples to apples comparison of what is it you want us to talk to you about. They've got an extensive amount of public engagement done, but they haven't done the information yet. The focus has been on secondary, central, and they haven't actually extolled the virtues of what do you get when you do a tertiary treatment, and that is water. And what I'd like to see them do is show more pictures of what water in the community should look like. You know, pictures like Beacon Hill Park.
So a tertiary treatment
the water
system
part.
gives us
Water.
clean-ish or pretty clean.
Reclaimed water. It can be as
Coming
clean
out.
as you need it to be.
Okay.
It can be clean to drinking levels.
That could be used to
easily
water a golf course, for
Yes.
example, or people's lawns.
Make beautiful parks.
Okay.
Beacon Hill Park is being fed from our reservoir right
Yes.
now. The
Yes.
water down there.
Yes.
Those beautiful waterscapes. Take that, well, maybe use reclaimed water for Beacon Hill Park.
Yes.
Rather than use drinking water.
Yes, and we can do that.
Eventually, we should stop flushing our toilets with drinking water.
So you're saying, and I agree with you, that tertiary treatment system is the way to go.
Yes.
Okay.
It's cost effective as well, because we don't need outfalls. We don't need it.
What price are we looking at?
Well, the CRD project was $180 million to do secondary treatment alone.
$780 million.
Sorry, of the total 782, 180 was just the water treatment.
Okay.
All the rest was conveyance, tunnels, outfalls, and Heartland Road dealing with the residuals.
Oh. Okay.
Only 180 million was actually doing wastewater treatment at McLaughlin. So that's about the cost for doing secondary treatment. It's not that much more to add tertiary. And then you save the money on the outfall, which is expensive. Building a new ocean outfall, and it completely wastes the water. Okay. The other aspect they need to talk to us about is the benefits of distributed. Just don't use it as a word. Why do we do distributed? We want to use distributed treatment to save money, build on top of existing infrastructure. And this is where Medhi might come in with some of the process problems. They've been focusing on sites and excluding sites that could actually be cost effective to the overall project.
My objection is that, right now they are saying the propaganda is that we had extensive public consultation. And I say nonsense. We didn't have a meaningful public consultation. They designed a so-called consultation to give them the answer they want. And now they are saying the most popular options by the public, chosen by public, is one centralized plan, which is nonsense. We said right from the beginning, we cannot participate, public cannot participate without giving them enough information so their participation is an informed participation. Last night I was in Saanich Council, they were talking about the budget, and they said they want to have some public town hall meeting. Right away, the staff for the finance, the person in charge of the finances of the Saanich said, we cannot have public participation without providing them with enough information. Otherwise, it's meaningless. We were saying exactly the same thing here, but it's come to deaf ears. and they do not want that. What I see, in last 2 weeks, I went through some newspapers from the past to see the background. And I see in 2006, 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, in many articles, Vic Derman, Barb Desjardins, Mayor Graham Hill of View Royal, they all are asking in different meetings, let's look at other alternatives than this one centralized plan of secondary system. They refuse. Let me read some of them to you so you can see. This is July, this is 29th of November 2007. Quote, I have had concern for quite a long period now about whether we were adequately assessing our options, Saanich Director Vic Derman said. And in the same paragraph, View Royal Mayor Graham Hill said, it doesn't make sense to get into detailed planned site selection when there is uncertainty surrounding the type of sewage treatment work best. So it's the same issues in 2007 and 2015 now we have. So they are repeating the same pattern because they want the same answer. They know it's wrong, but they repeat it.
I'll just say what you said about Vic Derman. I agree. There was an active, as far as I can see, very active efforts by the staff to keep any different ideas out of the process. It was only their idea that they were allowing.
Yes, and another article, May 2008. It's after a report come that we should have a distributed system, up to 32 of treatment plant. It's code. It says that there is a very good chance that a different direction might have both a better financial outcome and a better environmental outcome. Another article, 2009, and that's what Vic Derman said. Some of the CRD Sewage committees, such as Saanich Council Vic Derman, demand the staff go back to drawing board and explore the centralized system. Derman made such a motion in September, but staff miscounted the vote.
Yeah. Miscounted
the vote.
Let me read. Yes.
One last article I read and then I shut up. Actually,
these are all very fascinating.
Two more. One is this is June 2010. After a vote, Barb Desjardins is saying, we had a number of concerns, but they fell on deaf ears. Vic Derman said, very deaf ears. So every time they try, deaf ears. Last article I want to mention is 2009. They hired this gentleman on 2006. I'm reading 3 paragraphs very quickly. When the planner of Greater Victoria Massive Sewage Treatment Project needed help, they turned to a man named Bruce Jank. He brought with him decades of experience in sewage treatment, including a stint as Director of Environment Canada Wastewater Technology Centre, where government scientists researched how to draw resources from waste. But there was a problem. According to Jank, the CRD wouldn't listen to what he had to say. Quote, a lots of stuff I suggested they ignored. Jank told Times columnist.
Yes.
This is what it is. The staff being motivated by private interest, in my opinion, are manipulating the decision makers and do not allowing a real look at distributed system and all options.
And much of what you see coming out of this could validate what Betty's saying in the message that this happened. And so you're quite right. The history keeps repeating itself, and this is what we've been fighting for a long, long time. But there are just some those indicators that maybe this time it can be different. And we, again, thank this show, these conversations, to make sure the public is supporting the chance to make a change. And keep an eye on this process to don't repeat history. So the things that have changed is Lisa Helps is the chair of this committee. She's only been chair for 2 months. And we've already seen all this public engagement has really happened. No, it isn't just quite meaningless, because it's actually been bringing the public into the dialogue, and it's been getting them up into into the shape to really participate and express their desire to have real apples-to-apples comparison with tertiary distributed gasification against that centralized secondary treatment project.
Okay, so for somebody who's watching the program right now and who hasn't been too involved,
yes.
What are the big choices that we're looking at?
Well, there's two big choices right now is centralized secondary and tertiary, distributed tertiary with gasification. And both of those are actually on the table. They brought forward changes in motions in the recent meetings to give that two options to technical experts to fully cost out over the summer and into September. So come October, and I trust that they're bringing in really good experts. Lisa helps. Barb Desjardins, as the co-chairs of the East and West Side, are the select committee for these people, and others. There will be a public process to hire them. But these experts will cost this project out, both the tertiary, distributed with gasification, secondary, centralized with anaerobic digestion.
Okay, and what time frame is this happening over?
Through September, October.
Okay.
The public should see numbers come back in October.
Okay.
But I think what's happening, first of all, the whole process is being manipulated. They are claiming that the public wants a centralized plan. But where is the evidence? They do not have a public hearing so people can talk on the record and say what they really want. They are coming with this fancy stuff like the different color of a sticker color of paper, and they distribute this red and green and yellow paper, and we don't know who is putting these papers on these options, and they say, oh, there is the green, they like this one more than that. That's not the proof. When Barb Desjardins wanted to know what people of Esquimalt want, she had public hearing.
She was required to.
At the end of the public hearing, nobody has any doubt what people wanted.
There will be public hearings in this process when it comes back down to actually doing any zoning changes.
Here is the type of question they ask. If it turn out, they asked this question from us in the internet. If it turned out that the costs were higher, would you consider pay more for a distributed system?
This is false rate to begin with.
Exactly.
Because it's completely the inverse. If it was distributed tertiary, it should cost less.
So why are they leading people into believing that it may cost more? The same thing with their survey. The question is removal of harmful material from entering water. 31% wanted that. But then the fifth question is ability to treat wastewater beyond secondary level, 5%. Actually, the first question and the fifth question is both the same question. So this shows 36% of people want tertiary system, not the secondary.
You know, if what you guys are saying is correct, then it seems we are being moved in a certain direction. Do you?
No, there's evidence to back up what Medhi's saying, but there's also the hope because of the leadership with Lisa and Barb on the west side, new leadership driving this committee with new technical expertise, and a fairness advisor that's going to be overseeing this from the side, kind of like an ombudsman to be a validator of this. So I have hope that this is going to work out. I really trust that it's working out a lot differently than last time. All of their yellows, there's a 345-page report that has just been out on the East Side Dialogue website for the CRD. It lists all of the conversations, all the emails, all the dialogues, all the analysis that they've done to come up with the site selection they have. It's still flawed because they have to come out with that.
I'll just say this about site selection.
There's a lot of information there.
I was at a table when sites were actually being selected, and we didn't eliminate any sites.
Yes.
They told us your job is to reduce the number of sites, so we reduced them to pick the ones that some people thought were the best, but we didn't eliminate anything.
Based on incomplete information.
But now they're telling us the sites are eliminated, so even that is a little...
And public consultation was wonderful. My friend, here is the real issue is that there is a huge pot of money, and all these consultant and engineering firm and consultant, they want that money. That's all about.
Bryan Gilbert, Medhi Najari, thank you very much. We've all got to keep an eye on this, folks. It's big money. Thank you for watching Citizens Forum.